How's it going, everyone? Football Rob here. I'm breaking down the Minnesota Golden Gophers win over the Purdue Boilermakers on November 5th. It was a home game. Minnesota won 44-31. They improved to 7-2. Purdue drops to 3-6. And this game was such a wacky game with so many twists and turns. 1 minute you thought Minnesota had things under control, the next minute all heck breaks loose, turnovers, big plays given up in the passing game, and it was just it was a struggle. Even though the final score 44-31, you'd think that they handled it pretty well, they were actually trailing at halftime 28-23. So as we go over the action, I saw that Minnesota got off to a good start, a 10-0 lead, but then that's when the stuff hit the fan a little bit, because David Blau had a great game, 391 yards, 4 touchdowns, the Purdue quarterback, and he had his moments, to say the least, against what I thought was a very shaky up and down performance by the Gophers defense. They did come away with 6 sacks, and they tightened it up as the game went along, but there were some plays where it didn't look like they had their stuff together. And I don't think it was coaching. I think it was poor execution by the players. I saw Herdman, the tight end for Purdue. He scored the first touchdown for Purdue, and basically it was a perfect pocket. There was no pressure around Blau, and he was able to find his tight end in the end zone. And then following that, it was 3rd and 11 on their own 10-yard line or 11-yard line. But anyways, Blau hit his receiver for an 89-yard touchdown, and it was just, if you're a Minnesota fan, you're thinking, okay, we've got him backed up. It's 3rd and long. We're going to have good field position to set up our offense. And within the drop of a hat, an 89-yard touchdown pass was given up by cornerback Demarius Travis, number 7. He was completely out of position. His hips were turned the wrong way, and he just gave up. The pass should have been like a 15-yard completion or 20-yard completion. Instead of, it was a 89-yard touchdown. And that wasn't the last big play that Purdue got on this shaky defense. I'm going to look up the wide receiver's name real quick here. D'Angelo Yancey got a 60-yard touchdown, and Jalen Myrick, another cornerback for the Minnesota Gophers, this play should have went for 7 yards, not 60 yards. It was a quick slant over the middle, tackle the guy, but he couldn't. Yancey burned him, and Cameron Posey was the previous receiver that I mentioned who burned Minnesota for a 89-yard touchdown. So, anyways, I think Minnesota really got back to business with their ground game, and that's why they won. Rodney Smith, 153 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, both career highs. And Mitch Leidner, the quarterback, chipped in on the ground as well with 74 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. But Mitch Leidner is very, very inconsistent in my opinion, and they really have to clean this up if they're going to challenge in the Big Ten West, because he just looks, sometimes he looks good, but then he makes like baffling mistakes, at the most inopportune times. And the biggest mistake he made in this game, it was right before the half. It was about 20 seconds to go. I don't know why Minnesota was trying to force the ball down the field anyway, they were, you know, at the 25-yard line, at their own 25-yard line. So they had about 70 yards to go, or, you know, maybe if you're thinking about a field goal, they had about, you know, 40 yards to go, 45, whatever. And he throws this baffling interception that his receiver wasn't even expecting or looking to turn around to catch the ball. So I don't know who made the mistake. Was it Leidner with the inaccurate throw, or was it the wide receiver who ran the wrong route? But whatever the case is, it set up a touchdown that Purdue scored right before the half, and that's why Purdue was up 28-23 going into halftime. So, you know, they eventually figured it all out, and they outscored Purdue 21-3 in the second half. And I'd say that most of that was because Rodney Smith, you know, he really carried the mail, especially when you consider that Shannon Brooks, the other running back for Minnesota, was out with an undisclosed injury. I think that they're going to have to get that injury situation under control, because you know, to go up against a team like Nebraska, you need all of your horses in the stable, and you know, if you don't have Brooks there, I don't know if they can get it done. They seem like a very capable team at times, but then other times they look really baffling to me. The last piece of note that I wanted to go over in this game is that I hate the targeting calls. I think targeting is like, that's the whole point of playing defense, isn't it? You have to target the ball carrier and hit him so that he doesn't score a touchdown. That's like kind of the whole point of playing defense. But this call happened kind of in garbage time, if you will. It was like less than a minute to go. Purdue was down 13. There's no way you can come back with that little time left. Nick Rallis, the linebacker, number 56, he lowered his shoulder and he hit the wide receiver going over the middle. And it was shoulder-to-shoulder contact. And first of all, I thought, watching it live, it was a good play. Then, like 10 seconds later, a flag is thrown, and it's like, well, a late flag, what's going on there? You know. And then they said that they're going to review the hit that Rallis was just involved in, and they eventually ruled that it was targeting, and he's going to be ejected. And not only is he ejected, but he's going to sit out the first half of next week's game for a call that is like complete nonsense. You know, you lower your shoulder, but because he lowered his head while he was lowering his shoulder, they called it targeting. No helmet-to-helmet contact was made, and it's still targeting. I mean, they really have to get these rules ironed out. I know that they want to protect the players, but you got to let them play football, right? I mean, that's why they're on scholarship to begin with. So that's a stupid call. But, you know, I'd say overall, if Minnesota plays like this again, they will not beat Nebraska next week. So we'll just have to see. I'll make some other videos during the week, and we'll preview that big matchup. It's going to be a great litmus test. We're going to see who this Minnesota squad really is next week. So that's all I've got for now. Football Rob, signing off.